Go through 300 years of history and look for all the black people that fit the description you just said.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, dead at 54, in what's being reported as a tragic drowning accident during a family vacation. But something about it just doesn't sit right. On the surface, it's another heartbreaking headline. A beloved star gone to soon. But look closer, and the cracks in the story begin to show. The facts don't quite line up. The silence feels ... scripted, and the voices questioning the official version. They aren't just random conspiracy theorists. Comedians like Cat Williams, who've risked everything to expose the darkest corners of Hollywood, are calling foul. And once you hear what he said, you won't see this tragedy the same.
The Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time.
To millions, he was always Theo Huxtable, the bright-eyed genius from The Cosby Show. The kid whose future shined so brightly it lit up living rooms across America. But Malcolm Jamal Warner was more than a sitcom star. He was a symbol, a young black man on TV who didn't have to be the thug, the clown, or the cautionary tale. He stood for something bigger. And for years, he stayed true to that image, choosing integrity over scandal, talent over tabloid noise. So, when the headlines broke on July 20th, 2025, claiming he drowned while trying to save his daughter on a quiet vacation in Costa Rica, the world stopped. The story, on the surface, was tragic but clear. A family trip to Playa Grande, breathtaking, yet notoriously dangerous beach near Limon. That afternoon, Malcolm and a friend waded into the water. The rip current was stronger than expected, and it pulled them under fast. By the time help arrived, it was too late. Beachgoers performed CPR for nearly an hour. Red Cross medics used a defibrillator. Nothing worked. The official cause, asphyxiation by drowning. A tragic accident. Case closed. But was it really? Because, if you looked closely, the early news cycle was chaos. Conflicting reports claimed Malcolm dove in to rescue his 8-year-old daughter. But here's what most missed. She never even touched the water. She was safe, on the sand the entire time. Some outlets even misidentified who was in the water. The real story, much quieter, and far more human. Malcolm wasn't playing the hero in a Hollywood script. He was a father, on a rare break from the chaos, trying to give his little girl a memory, something pure, something real. While others, in the spotlight, exploit their families for clicks and reality show deals, Malcolm kept his private life sacred. No drama, no headlines, no distractions. He shielded his daughter from the noise, the cameras, the poison of fame, and maybe that's why the industry never fully embraced him. Because in a town built on illusion, someone who values truth becomes a threat.
If I die tomorrow, I know I would go with a smile on my face.
Let's be real. Hollywood has always had a complicated relationship with black success, especially when that success comes without strings attached. Malcolm Jamal Warner wasn't just a sitcom star. He was the heartbeat of The Cosby Show. A trailblazer who shattered stereotypes and gave young black men a new kind of role model. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This industry doesn't reward character, it rewards chaos. Malcolm carried himself with dignity, discipline, and purpose. But that doesn't pay in Hollywood. Not unless you're willing to play the game. While others cashed in on scandals, Malcolm chose privacy. He chose integrity. And in return, he was forgotten. Overlooked, underpaid, his estimated net worth, around $6 million. For a man who helped redefine American television, that's not a number, that's a slap in the face. Look around, this isn't an isolated story. Tyler James Williams still fights to shed the
How do you hope this goes on?
Terrence Howard spoke out about unequal pay and got labeled difficult. Orlando Jones, blacklisted for daring to speak up. The pattern is clear. If you don't fit the narrative, if you don't dance, clown, or comply, the doors slam shut. That's not coincidence. That's the playbook. So when Malcolm's death hit the news, a tragic drowning on a quiet beach in Costa Rica, something didn't sit right. And it wasn't just random internet theorists raising eyebrows. It was people like Cat Williams, a man who's taken on Hollywood's secrets head-on, a man who's paid the price for speaking up. And when Cat spoke about Malcolm's death, the chill was real. He didn't flinch. He called it what it might be, a message. According to Cat, the industry wages silent war on black entertainers who refuse to play their role. If you don't wear the dress, if you don't play the fool, if you don't stay in line, you get labeled unstable. Your phone stops ringing, and sometimes, you vanish. Real ones get punished, Cat said, and he meant it. Look at Chappelle, who walked away from $50 million rather than be a puppet. Look at Cat himself, brilliant, fearless, and constantly painted as crazy. And now, Malcolm. Another name on that list of men who didn't sell out.
Heartbreaking new details in the accidental drowning death of Malcolm Jamal Warner.
In the morning, Mr. Warner had surf lessons with his family.
Sound dramatic? Maybe. But let's check the receipts. How many times have we seen this exact movie play out? Nipsey Hussle, barely acknowledged while alive. The moment he's murdered, he's a visionary, a prophet. Chadwick Boseman fought cancer in silence, gave the world a king. But he didn't get the crown until after the credits rolled. Lisa left eyelopes, Michael Jackson, icons, immortalized only in death. The pattern is undeniable. The industry doesn't honor black legends while they're breathing, it waits, and when they're gone, it pounces. Suddenly, there's money to be made. Playlists, tribute shows, corporate statements, crocodile tears from people who never bothered to call. But where were the flowers then? Where were the roles, the deals, the real support when it mattered?
I spoke with one of the lifeguards in Costa Rica. He reveals Malcolm's 8-year-old daughter was also rescued from the water.
What made Malcolm Jamal Warner dangerous to the system wasn't scandal, it was substance. He was more than Theo. He became a Grammy-winning poet, an Emmy-nominated actor, a director, a mentor, a father. He dodged every stereotype they tried to throw at him, refusing to let his legacy be hijacked by clickbait or controversy. He launched podcasts. He dropped conscious poetry albums. He used his platform to elevate, not just entertain. Not All Hood was his project to break the myth that black men are only one thing. He was about depth, dignity, and purpose. No costumes, no fake beef, no circus acts. He was living proof that black men could define themselves. No permission needed. That's what they never gave him credit for.
These are the first things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions.
Let's be real. Hollywood has always had a complicated relationship with black success, especially when that success comes without strings attached. Malcolm Jamal Warner wasn't just a sitcom star. He was the heartbeat of The Cosby Show. A trailblazer who shattered stereotypes and gave young black men a new kind of role model. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This industry doesn't reward character, it rewards chaos. Malcolm carried himself with dignity, discipline, and purpose. But that doesn't pay in Hollywood. Not unless you're willing to play the game. While others
There was a gentleman, I believe, from Nicaragua that was there with a practice surfboard and was able to get the daughter out. He put her on the surfboard and was able to kind of push her close enough to shore. She was okay. They found Mr. Warner pretty quickly. They could see a shadow on the bottom of the seafloor, pulled him up and put him on top of the surfboard and gave the 5 respirations. That was.
Here's the harshest truth. For all the noise, the tribute reels, the hashtags, the promises that this time will be different, it never is. The cycle just resets. Hollywood mourns, then moves on. Another name. Another tragedy. Another black icon swallowed by the machine. The roles don't evolve. The doors don't swing open. The next Malcolm, the next Chadwick, the next Nipsey, they're already out there, already climbing the same uphill mountain, with weights tied to their ankles. And the question that keeps echoing with no answer: why does someone have to stop breathing before we truly start listening? Why is black brilliance so
There were two other doctors that were there. They worked on Mr. Warner for at least 30 minutes, and then he was unfortunately pronounced dead.
And the other man who was in critical condition, how is he doing?
My understanding is that he's recovered.
Maybe the real tragedy isn't just the loss, it's what comes after. Malcolm Jamal Warner deserved more than a headline, more than a hashtag. He was a father, a mentor, a creator, a legend, long before the world was willing to see it. And now, as the industry spins his story into one last product, one final tribute, you have to ask, will anything actually change? Or are we just waiting for the next name, the next round of fake grief, the next gone too soon? Here's what no one wants to say out loud. If you really care about legacy, ... If you care about truth, don't let this be just another moment. We scroll past, asked the hard questions, refuse the polished version, push for the truth beneath the surface. Stay tuned, hit subscribe, and join the pulse.